Hello, everyone. Today we're going to continue our work with um, basic requirements in writing. Last week we worked on writing complete sentences, and this week we're going to look at capitalization, punctuation, and we're going to review a bit of writing complete sentences, specifically subordinating conjunctions. We touched on it very briefly last week because that was kind of an overview of writing complete sentences. Um, this week we're going to go a little bit deeper into how to use subordinating conjunctions to write complete sentences. All right, but today we're not going to do subordinating conjunctions. Today we're not going to do punctuation. Today we are going to do capitalization. So we've got three capitalization rules here we're going to talk about. These are all very surely review. I know that you all know this already, but a few of us have gotten into some bad habits, and so I thought it was definitely worth reviewing this material and making sure that we are all being mindful of it and capitalizing properly when we write. Okay, so our first rule that we're going to review today is always capitalize the first word of a sentence. Now, I know you know this, right? And here's the easy thing about this one is it's an always rule. Always, always, always. You know, sometimes we learn rules in grammar and then we also have to learn all the exceptions. And I know that's frustrating. But with this one, there are no exceptions. You always capitalize the first word of a sentence. So easy peasy. The one thing I wanted to remind you of is if the first word of your sentence is a number, then just spell it out. So if your first word of the sentence is, let's say, five, um, five squirrels are playing in the tree. If you use the number five, the numeral, you can't capitalize that, right? So we're going to spell it out, F-I-V-E, and we're going to capitalize the F. So if the first word of the sentence is a number, spell it out and capitalize it. All right, the second rule we're going to take a peek at today is always capitalize proper nouns, no matter where they appear in a sentence. Now, earlier in the school year, we did a whole sort of unit on proper nouns. And so this again is review for sure. A proper noun, remember, names a specific person, place, or thing. So whereas, and remember, a proper noun has a counterpart, and that is the common noun. So common nouns name general people, places, and things, and they are not capitalized. So for example, a person, we could say athlete. This is a common noun. It does not name a specific person, a specific athlete. It's just sort of a generic term that a lot of people could fall into. This one, but if we could do a proper noun, sorry about that, stumbled over my words a little there, but a proper noun could be, let's say, Javier Baez. So Javi Baez is an athlete. Athlete is common noun, but Javi Baez, that's his name. That's a very specific person. So we're going to capitalize that. Your name is capitalized because it's a specific person. All right, place. We do not capitalize common nouns when they refer to places. So, for example, city, that is a place, right? But it's not a specific place. But when we say Janesville, now that is specific and we're going to capitalize that. And then, of course, things. Things can be capitalized as well if they have a name. So things that get capitalized are usually things like buildings, works of art, books, movies. There's lots of things that get names and then they get capitalized. So for example, if I said, I'm going to build a tower, I would not capitalize tower. It is a thing, but it's not very specific, right? It's not its name really. But if I said I'm going to visit the Eiffel Tower, now that's very specific. Not just any old tower, but very specifically the Eiffel Tower, we would capitalize that. All right, so always capitalize proper nouns. And then the last rule we're going to look at today is capitalize the personal pronoun I. This is another easy one to remember because it's an always rule. That it never has an exception. It doesn't have a counterpart that you have to try to keep it um, separate from, kind of like proper nouns and common nouns. It's just I. Anytime you use the word I or a contraction with I, like I'm, I'd, I'll, I've, right? We always capitalize it. Always capitalize I. It doesn't matter where it is in the sentence. It doesn't matter if it's I by itself or I as part of a contraction. It's always capitalized. Okay, let's just get into the practice and then we will be all done with our stuff for today. So the practice here says to capitalize the first word of a sentence, proper nouns, and I. So we're just going to look at these 5 sentences and see what we need to capitalize. There is no capitalization in these sentences as they stand now, so they're all going to need something. And last week we talked about grammar check and spell check, right? You're going to get these colored googly or squiggly kind of lines under words. Never, never, never ignore those. Click on them. See what the computer program is trying to warn you about. When you turn your schoolwork in and you have red or blue lines under your words, you can pretty much be guaranteed that you've got some mistakes. So let the computer be your friend. Let it help you. Fix those before your teacher ever even sees them, and then you potentially maybe lose some credit for making these grammatical or spelling mistakes. All right, so let's just look at number 1. A trip to California sounds good to me. A trip to California sounds good to me. We need to capitalize some things here. So the first thing that jumps right out at me is that we don't have a capital letter at the beginning of our sentence. So let's fix that. Always capitalize the first letter of a sentence. And then do we have anything else? Anything jumping out at you? Hopefully you're seeing California. California is a proper noun. It is the name of a specific state. So California needs to be capitalized. And then I'm not seeing anything else here. We don't have the personal pronoun I. I don't see any more proper nouns, the names of people, places, or things. And you can only capitalize the first letter of the sentence once, I guess, right? And we did that. So moving on to number 2, you and I could drive there together. You and I could drive there together. Well, again, jumps right out at you probably. The first letter of this sentence, the first word of the sentence, needs to be capitalized, you. Now, when we did that, that for some reason jogged something in the system and now it's recognizing, right? Our program is recognizing I could here. See the blue line? We're not going to ignore that. Hopefully you're seeing that I needs to be capitalized anyway. But if you missed it, if you're so used to seeing those lowercase i's that they're not jumping out to you as mistakes, well, our good friend computer program here is picking it up. So I can click on that and fix it. I could drive there together. Awesome. All right, moving on to the third sentence. 3 years from now, I'll graduate and move somewhere warmer. Now, a little note about the spell check, grammar check. It's not going to pick up everything. Language is very human, and a computer, while it can do a great job, it cannot do a perfect job with language. So it is not picking up this 3. That's going to fall on you to recognize I can't begin my sentence with a capital letter because I can't capitalize numbers. So I need to change 3 to 3, T-H-R-E-E, and of course I capitalized it because it's the first word in the sentence. And then grammar check is picking this up. Hopefully your eyes and brain are as well, that I'll needs to be capitalized because we always capitalize I. Number 4, I've already talked to Serena about living with her in San Diego. So grammar check is picking up I've. This one is looking really bad for 2 reasons. First, it's the first word of the sentence, so it needs to be capitalized. And secondly, it is I, right? I have. It's I. It needs to be capitalized for that reason. So for 2 reasons, we're going to capitalize I've already talked to Serena. So here, Serena is being flagged as a problem. We can click on it and look at that. The program understands that Serena is a name. So that's a proper noun. So anytime it's the name of a person, someone's name, that needs to be capitalized. You guys know this already. Just a review. I've already talked to Serena about living with her in San Diego. So San here is being flagged, San Diego. So I need to decide, do I need to capitalize this? Because it's telling me to. Well, San Diego is a city in California. So sure, that makes it a proper noun. It needs to be capitalized. But here's an example of what I was talking about the computer program not always picking everything up. It's not perfect. So for some reason, it's picking up San, but not Diego. Diego, however, does need to be capitalized. It is part of the name of the city. It is part of the proper noun. So San Diego needs to be capitalized. Both parts of that proper noun. Just like imagine New York, right? Or a person's first and last name, Amy Nelson, right? So we capitalize proper nouns even if they're more than one word. Imagine the title of a book or a movie. Each word is capitalized. All right, number 5. We can go to San Diego Zoo Safari Park every weekend. So of course we're going to capitalize the first word in the sentence, we. And then we just talked about San Diego here. So this jumps out at me, right? San Diego. But are we saying we can go to San Diego every weekend? No, there's more. So we're not talking about going to San Diego every weekend if we're living there. We're talking about going to a specific place in San Diego. Oops. The San Diego Safari Park. So the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is the name of a particular place. This makes it a proper noun and we need to capitalize it. So we're going to capitalize San. We're going to capitalize Diego. We're going to capitalize Zoo, not Sue. Excuse my typo there. Zoo, Safari, and Park. Because this is the whole name of that place, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. So every word needs to be capitalized. All right, I think we have corrected all of the capitalization errors in these 5 sentences. And we are ready to move on tomorrow to punctuation. Now, punctuation is a huge topic. We're only going to be dealing with end punctuation tomorrow. We will deal with other punctuation later. So if you need help with any of this today or you have questions or concerns, please Google Meet with me and have an amazing day.